Daytime Tea, where we discuss the latest celebrity tea in the news. I'm your host, Auntie Derek, and today is Friday, August 22nd. With me on the mic, I have my lovely co host, I Chill. Hey, boo.
Hello, hello, Friday.
Friday, indeed. We have some great tea to get into, so I say let's just jump right in.
Okay, tea time.
Yes. Now this first story, I won't dig in too much into it simply because to read the entire article you would have had to register to the site, and I for the sake of time I didn't have time to register, so I may go back later to review it. But I like to start off with some Diddy or Diddy adjacent news. Not much news about him in the news, but remember we had just recently talked about Drewski and him having that that slight win in court.
Mm-hmm.
um, and you remember Odell Beckham Jr. was named in that lawsuit as well, but it turns out that
Yes,
Drewski wasn't even in the area and broke at the time.
right.
Odell Beckham actually wants those lawyers sanctioned for that. And I honestly wish I could see the entire article, but I'm going to share it. And you guys, if you want to see it, you can view it later. But let
He
me,
wants them sanctioned for including Drewski.
no, including him.
Oh, I was gonna say. Oh, okay.
Hmm. So let me, here. And you should see it here where like again, we can't read. It's from Law 360,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not familiar with this website, and I'm not sure how reputable it is, but this is the only one that I could find that's actually talking about this. And you just see how it says NFL star Odell Beckham Jr. is looking to sanction attorneys representing a woman accusing him in California federal court of participating in a Bay Area gang rape alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. So that's all we can see at the moment.
And it's only free for 7 days, and apparently you have to pay. So,
Right. And
yeah,
I got time for
right.
that.
We'll just take. We'll wait and see what happens.
Exactly. Well, that's that on that. So, I guess we can just go straight to the next story. Lil Nas X, and shout out to you, Chill, and Will for bringing this to my attention because the news broke like immediately after the show ended
Right.
yesterday. But Lil Nas X, honey, oh my goodness, baby, what are you doing, honey? So we're gonna start with this TMZ article, and give me 1 second here. And you should see where it says here, Lil Nas X booked for battery on officer after naked escapade. So I'm sure you all have saw that video of him strutting in them boots and them drawers, honey. And he was strutting down that street, honey, like he was like the final two from America's Next Top Model trying to win that title. But it was just it was kind of weird and sad to look at. But
Yeah.
the body was bodying, though. I tell you that. But you see where it says here, Lil Nas X was just booked for battery on a peace officer following his late night escapade that ended with him stark naked and tussling with police officers. TMZ Hip Hop can confirm the Old Town Road rapper is currently in custody for the misdemeanor offense at Van Nuys Jail outside Los Angeles. Nas is currently being held without bail. We broke the story. Lil Nas X was spotted by a bystander early this morning wearing nothing but tidy whities and cowboy boots while parading down the middle of a street. Law enforcement sources say he eventually stripped down naked and lunged after an officer. Our
Oh, he
cop,
took the drawers off. Wait a minute.
yes, honey.
Oh, oh Lord.
Our cop sources tell us witnesses called police and Nas was rushed to a hospital after it was reported he suffered a possible drug overdose. Fans have grown accustomed to Nas's famous antics over the years, but this one is no stunt, of course. Let's hope Nas gets some help.
Hmm.
So, yeah, mm,
That's sad. That's really sad to see him go out like that. He started out so well, and then he came out and let people know he was part of the community. And what's really going on?
I don't want to be like reductive and just like blame it all on drugs, but that's really all the information that we have at the moment. Like, cause especially if him going being hospitalized for an overdose, like
It sounds like he
I
didn't stay there long. Like they thought maybe that's what was happening with him at first because it's out of character. So I could see how they would assume maybe he was under the influence of something, but it doesn't seem like he's because this story just broke yesterday,
mm-hmm.
and now he's already in jail and held without bail in less than 24 hours. I mean, so I just wonder if it really was a drug overdose or if something else is going on with him.
It's something else, and I'm glad you said that because there's another article from TMZ that I wanted to share. They actually have footage of him like before all of that happened, before
Mhm.
all of it, and it was looking weird.
Oh, okay.
So let me share this other TMZ link here.
Hey, Quinn.
Hey, Libra Queen.
Shirtless.
And y'all should see the second TMZ link I have. It says Lil Nas X daytime hotel meltdown.
Hmm.
New video hours before arrest.
Ah.
So we won't watch the entire thing because it's just pretty much what it is. Him, you see walking by himself.
Yeah. Prancing, kind of like unusually for just walking by yourself.
Hmm.
Okay.
They says he goes into the hotel, just has a sip of water, and then from there starts taking off his clothes and strutting down the street.
Oh.
Like, so something's going on, girl. You say TMZ Hip Hop obtained the surveillance footage recorded outside the Short Stores Hotel around 1:30 p.m. Wednesday. Sources at the hotel confirmed he was there, although he was not a registered guest. Still, the video makes it seem like he was going through something. You see Montero all by himself strolling off the street and into the hotel's courtyard area. Unlike his shocking encounter with the bystander early Thursday morning, Lil Nas X was fully dressed at for water, and then for some reason decided to go shirtless as he walked back out on the street. You
Hmm.
see, we broke the story. Lil Nas X ended up wandering Ventura Boulevard about 7 miles from the hotel at 4 a.m. Thursday, wearing only his tidy whitey underwear and white cowboy boots.
Mm.
It's still unclear what Nas has been up to in between the two incidents. His camp has been radio silent since the arrest. As we reported, he was booked for battery on an officer after allegedly charging at cops who responded.
Did he walk all that way? 7 miles?
I, I think them boots were made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. Child, mm, mm, mm.
Yeah, something's going on.
So I'm with TMZ. I hope he gets the help he needs, cause yeah, this is weird. And then people that a lot I've seen a lot of like tweets that were suggesting that it may be like, a publicity stunt because of a new album rollout or new music that he has coming out. But I'm not getting arrested and getting all the way butt naked, charging at police officers, and I don't. That's not no stunt,
Yeah,
baby. That's a breakdown.
yeah, that's beyond the scope of a stunt. I could see him. I I don't. I can't even see him stripping down his underwear and walking in the middle of the street for a stunt without a I, I, without somebody to rescue him before the cops got there, or like getting completely naked and charging at cops. That's not a stunt. If it is, it's a very very foolish one because you could have got yourself killed.
Yep. So we wish you the best, Lil Nas X, and again, much, baby, whatever it is, I hope you get through it.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
Well, did anybody want to add anything else about Puss in Boots before we go to the next story about a rapper that y'all don't care about? And it's not my ex-man, I promise. Well, remember not too long ago we had just talked about Ice Spice, having her a new boo, and I can't remember exactly when it was, but it wasn't that long ago. If I had to take a guess, I would say maybe around 2 months ago, if I remember correctly. But it looked like, honey, either she's cheating or they silently broke up and nobody knew. But I have this article here from TMZ as well. And let me make sure y'all can see my screen. And you see where it says here, Ice Spice off the sauce fuels romance rumors with a new man. So we talked about her like being linked up with Sauce Gardner. So Ice Spice is sparking major buzz in both sports and entertainment worlds, fueling split rumors from her NFL boyfriend Sauce Gardner, while igniting whispers of a brand new romance. The rapper was spotted Monday afternoon leaving the West Hollywood hotspot Sessones. Is that how you say that?
I would say
Not with the
Chitones.
oh well that
That's
place.
yeah, that Italian place.
That Italian place, uh-huh. And she not with Sauce, but with elite basketball player and TikTok star Diamond Blasi. And if I'm mispronouncing his name, please forgive me. But the two were photographed walking out together.
Hmm.
Mm, that's him right here. The sighting has fans talking, with many speculating Ice and Sauce may have cooled things off. The New York Jet star and the Munch hitmaker were last seen publicly earlier this summer, but things have looked quiet on the couple front in recent weeks. As for Diamond, he's no stranger to the spotlight himself, known for his flashy moves on the court and viral clips that have racked up millions of views on TikTok. Pair that with Ice Spice's rap career, and it's no surprise the duo's lunch outing has people connecting dots. A source close to the situation tells TMZ Ice and Diamond were just enjoying time together. Our source wouldn't elaborate if that's as friends or romantically. Whether this is a casual fling or the start of something serious, one thing's for sure: Ice Spice knows how to keep fans guessing, both on the charts and in her love life. We've reached out to reps for all parties. So far, no word back. So I don't know if somebody's on Ice Spice's team is paying TMZ, baby, but y'all hype this girl all the way up in this article. Honey.
And I
So
have no idea why.
there was like the Ice Spice hitmaker. Oh, she wants to keep fans guessing. Who is talking about this girl? In
Mm,
fact, I actually just seen a tweet that well, she does have some new music coming out. I know that much. And I think she's in a new movie that has Denzel Washington in it.
mm.
Um, but some people said like, I'm getting the sentiment that she's yesterday's news. Like, it, I mean, I'm definitely not her demographic anyway. I'm too damn old to be this she does not make auntie music, that's for sure. So,
Well, that's a
yeah.
big score for her though. If she's in a movie, I mean, good for her because musically, her 15 minutes of fame was up 3 hours ago. So, you know, that's been dead. But I guess she still has her fans. But if she comes out with new music and it sounds like the stuff she's been putting out, honey, mm-mm.
Mm-mm. Oh, and I'm sorry, we have a comment that I missed about the tidy white. We said inform straight men that you can wear tidy whities and not have a shit stain. Baby, you are asking too much of them. You are talking to a group of men that think it's gay to put a bath cloth and soap in between the crack of their ass, honey. You might want to use their energy for something else.
Oh,
Well, does anybody want to add anything else about Ice Spice or Sauce Gardner or this Diamond
we
man
don't
before we
care.
go
We
to
don't care. Take us off the group chat. We don't care who she's with, who she's screwing, who she broke up with. We don't care.
So what you're saying is we don't care.
Yes. Period.
Well, The next story, now, even though a lot of us didn't care for him after we found out he was racist, we have talked about Brooke Hogan, and she suspects that was foul play with her father's death, but now it has actually come out. And shout out to my favorite Taurus for bringing this story to my attention. But it looks like his death may be a result of medical malpractice, is what's being accused.
What? What?
Hmm. So I'm gonna start off by reading the story first, and then there were a couple of updates that we're gonna read after this. But the story starts off. Oh, let me make sure y'all can see what I'm reading. So, TMZ reports Hulk Hogan may have been the victim of medical malpractice that may have cost him his life. This, according to sources connected to the death case. Law enforcement sources tell TMZ the Clearwater Police Department police report regarding the 911 response to Hulk's home the day he died says an occupational therapist was present at the wrestling legend's Florida residence when he stopped breathing.
Okay.
So, according to the report, which is on lockdown, quote unquote, the therapist told responding officers Hulk was the victim of medical malpractice. The therapist says during a recent operation, it is unclear if it was the surgery to repair his heart or a neck procedure. The surgeon severed his phrenic nerve. The phrenic nerve stimulates the diaphragm, which controls
Yes.
breathing.
Yes.
Our sources say Hulk did not have a chest clenching episode before his passing, rather, he merely stopped breathing. We're told it was his wife Sky who sounded the alarm when his breath halted, and that's when the 911 call was made. We're also told that there were conversations among the other I'm sorry, there were conversations among the officers at the scene where they talked about what the therapist had told them, and this is on body cam. It's a fair assumption the conversation between the occupational therapist and the officers is also on the body cam. Hulk daughter Brooke, the reason that this show exists, but she has called for an autopsy, which we talked about yesterday.
Right.
Uh, at, as of a week ago, we were told Hulk's body was not yet cremated, but we have not gotten clarity if cremation has taken place. And TMZ Sports broke the story. Hulk died on July 24th. And even you, Chill, as a retired medical professional, you was like, yeah, it's weird that him dying on July 24th and he's still not. If they're going to cremate him and he's still not cremated, like what's
Or
but
autopsy
or
or
autopsy, and
nothing.
yep. But let's get into the updates. So the
Okay.
first update says Hulk Hogan's widow, Sky, confirmed to TMZ Sport the wrestling legend's phrenic nerve was compromised during one of his recent surgeries. She
Hmm.
also added an autopsy on Hogan has been done, but she declined to reveal its results.
Makes sense. Okay.
Sky also said Hogan's body has not yet been cremated.
Okay.
And then the next update, the Clearwater Police Department said in a statement to TMZ Sports on Thursday, the investigation into Hulk Hogan's death remains ongoing. We have been in communication with family members, including his son, Nick, and daughter, Brooke. The unique nature of this case has required us to interview multiple witnesses and seek medical records from a variety of providers, and our detectives continue to do all of that. All of this takes time. The Hogan family has been appreciative of our efforts and our communication with them. So,
Mm.
mm-mm. Mm.
Mm. The plot thickens. Yeah, the phrenic nerve being compromised or damaged. Yeah, that's what drives your breathing, your diaphragm to move up and down and expand your lungs.
Mm-mm.
Wow, that's a hell of a thing to have go wrong. And apparently, it's a known thing. Maybe it wasn't severed, but it was damaged. Um, yeah, that's not good.
And so, like, if something like that were to happen, like if it was damaged, there's like really not much. Can
Well,
anything be done to?
I'm looking because this is not a common complication that I've dealt with. A severed phrenic nerve. Let me see if there's a repair for that. It can lead to your diaphragm. being paralyzed and significant breathing difficulties. Symptoms can range from mild shortness of breath to the need for a ventilator. Treatment options: phrenic nerve repair surgery and diaphragm plication with the goal of restoring diaphragmatic function. Um,
Mm,
Depending on the severity, let's see. So it could. I'm looking for the how can it be fixed if you have to live on a ventilator
mm-hmm.
and surgery may not be successful. A nerve graft may be used to bridge the gap if it's severed all the way, using another nerve to connect it back. Oh,
Child.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a serious injury or mistake. I see a lot of people have researched this, so might be because of this.
Probably, yep. I would imagine so, especially if you like it's if like Google's already like populating answers and stuff, like finishing what you
Yeah.
want to search.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. So we have two comments in the chat that are cracking me up. The first one says, "Hooray for malpractice," and then the other one says, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, serious. Next topic."
And he may have been okay, like after the initial incident, but just with movement, activity, exercise or whatever, may have triggered more damage or somehow where he would stop breathing. Um,
Hmm.
so this could be a thing, lawsuit.
And now we kind of understand why Brooke wants like the public to see like release the body cam footage and stuff or release the da da da. It's just
Mhm.
something going on.
And the autopsy, well, the autopsy is going to tell the tale. If he has no other obvious reasons to have died suddenly, like no heart damage or anything like that, that this could have been his reason for death. Yeah, that's wow.
Well, well, like Hammy said, I don't, I anytime there's the world is rid of one less racist, honey, I'm just like, so I'm not gonna celebrate anybody's dying, but uh,
Don't.
like Hammy said, next topic.
Yeah, just don't even put that in your spirit. Just let it
Hmm.
go, and like you say, next topic.
Well, next, speaking of the next topic, honey, remember we talked about Jalen Brown's dad yesterday, Marcel Brown, honey, and that brutal attack that he did in that parking lot.
Yes.
Baby, why his attorney coming out saying that? Remember what the story that we read yesterday of how it went down? His attorney is saying that that was all done in self-defense, honey.
Oh, well, okay. You still he going to prison. The parking lot. You know what? Okay.
Child. So Jayla Brown's dad attorney claims self-defense in parking lot stabbing case. So, the attorney representing Jalen Brown's father, Marcellus Brown, said in the courtroom minutes ago his client was acting in self-defense during that I'm sorry, during that violent parking lot dispute in Las Vegas on Wednesday. The lawyer, Arnold Weinstock, told News 3LV Marcellus only got physical with Cross Tupuola after the youth football coach had pistol whipped him.
Get the.
Now, I just want to point out girl, you remember the story we read yesterday ain't say shit about a gun, and then remember the story that we heard. Tupuola was actually walking away, and then Marcellus grabbed him and started stabbing him.
Thank you.
So I was like, but I mean, hey, a defense attorney doing what a defense attorney is supposed to do. So it's about
Fire
a
this.
minute clip.
Fire this one. He
Well,
gonna.
the judge actually set the bail for $300,000 for him.
Oh, that's all.
Yep, girl, that was all. And let's just kind of hear what this attorney who needs to be fired said
He
about
looks
it.
crazy. He looks
Mm,
crazy. I'm sorry.
he does, and he sounds crazy. So watch this.
Go ahead and say and spell your first and last name for me.
Arnold Weinstock, Weinstock.
And who are you representing?
We are representing Mr. Quentin Marcellus Brown.
And what do you have to say about the allegations against him?
I only know what he has told me and what the police reports claim and what the newspaper reports claim. Certainly, we're going to be investigating a lot of this. But everything I know, and I've known Mr. Brown for quite some time, I do not believe that he initiated anything, and he is telling me that everything that occurred was him trying to defend himself after he was struck.
You brought up something that wasn't in the arrest report, that the victim in this situation had a gun that he hit Marcelo over the head with. Did he tell you that?
That was what he advised me, yes.
And what do you think about the $300,000 bail that was set today?
I think it's excessive, but, I understand the state's concern at this time, although I do not believe that type of bail is necessary, but I believe he will be able to post it, and hopefully he should be out in the next day or two.
Anything that you would like the public to know?
It'll all be litigated in court.
Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. Baby, look. And he
I'm
had a
sorry.
gun. You think he gonna hit a 7 foot, 300 pound man with the gun?
I
Oh,
just and he was like, "Is this from?" He said, "Is this from what you told? Was this in the police report, or was something he told you?" Oh yeah, it was something he told me. So
well,
he
we already
lied to you.
know. Yeah, we already know. Police ain't had nothing like that.
Well, police documents we obtained stated Marcellus and Tupuola got into a verbal argument after the NBA superstar's father had dinged the latter's vehicle with his Lincoln Navigator's door. The tiff, according to the docs, escalated after Tupuola allegedly accepted Marcellus' challenge to fight. Marcellus is accused of stabbing Tutuola multiple times during an ensuing quarrel. The documents make notes of a gun. I'm sorry, the documents make no notes of a gun. So,
Surprise.
hello. So, police say Tupuola is currently in critical condition at a Vegas hospital. Marcellus, meanwhile, sustained a broken toe, scrapped knees, and a bruised cheek, cops say. Child, that's
He,
a picture of his ass, I guess, in court, child.
got big. He needed a lot of room to get out of his car. I imagine he did ding that man's car. Then didn't give a shit about it neither. Men
Mm-mm.
that size generally, throw their weight around. They know they're intimidating. And he hit that man's car and didn't give a fuck about that man being upset about it. You think that man would just hit him on the head with a gun? He'd have shot him. Come on now.
And what I think didn't we read yesterday? I can't correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we read that Tupuola was like all of 5'9"?
160 pounds. Five
Yeah,
nine.
and you were able to take your gun and pistol whip.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I'm not a mathematician, but the way height and
If
width
Johnny had
works.
5 apples, if that lawyer believe this, baby, you need another lawyer because you going to prison. Because this is not going to fly at all. And other people witness this, so this stuff this lie you telling, it's not going to work.
And if even if we wanted to entertain this, because if I need to Google this, but I'm sure that I think Las Vegas has like strict gun laws, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe
So
they do.
yeah, so if there was any gun anywhere, I am way more than positive it would have been in that police report.
And you pistol whipping a 7 foot, 300 pound man with your pistol. Get out of here.
Well, I guess like Diddy, honey, like just throw everything on there, and see what sticks.
Right? Because this is not even in the realm of belief.
Hmm.
Oh my God, this is terrible. And why they keep throwing this man's son in here when they said they don't have a good relationship, and they keep using his name? Leave this man's son out of this. He has nothing to do with this.
Not a damn thing, but it's gonna be for the same reason I do it. Because when I tag the celebrities I'm talking about, you think I'm not gonna hashtag Jalen Brown's name, so I get them NBA fans to come in and listen to this? Yep, I'm talking about sports ball, y'all. Come listen to me. Listen to
You,
this,
you so
Jalen Brown.
messy. You so messy. So messy. Yeah, this is just ridiculous.
Hmm. Well, did anybody you want to add anything else about this ridiculous man before we go to the next story?
Lord no.
Well, this next story I actually had for yesterday, but since we had so much other tea to talk about, I wanted to save this story for today, so we can go ahead and just talk about it. But R. Kelly, because the last time we actually talked about him, he was like facing some court challenges or whatever. But I actually have a recent update. Let me share that here from by way of Hot New Hip Hop. And you all should see where it says R. Kelly takes another loss in court as judge refuses to remove prosecutors from case. So R. Kelly's fight for freedom continues, but recently he took another loss in court. All Hip Hop's grouchy Greg Watkins exclusively reports that U.S. District Judge Martha Packold denied the disgraced performer's motion to disqualify the U.S. Attorney's Office from his case. She argued that the request was extreme and drastic and that he lacked solid evidence. To warrant such an extraordinary intrusion into the affairs of a co equal branch as the disqualification of an entire USAO, a defendant must take an equally extraordinary showing. Kelly's motion does not meet that standard, Packold explained. Kelly had accused a former prosecutor involved in his case of misconduct, but the judge pointed out that they no longer work for the U.S. Attorney's Office. She also pointed out how Kelly acknowledged that the current prosecutor on the case did nothing wrong. This is far from the first loss he's taken on the legal front in recent months, however. Back in June, his team filed an emergency motion requesting home detention. Packle quickly denied the request, arguing that he could still allegedly pose a threat to the public. Kelly has not produced any arguments or evidence, much less clear and convincing evidence, challenging the court's previous findings or indicating that circumstances have changed such that Kelly is no longer a flight risk or a danger to the community, she wrote. As for his motion requesting a new trial, that's still under review. He alleges that a key witness was bribed to change her testimony and that authorities tried to get one of his fellow inmates to kill him. He's currently serving a 30-year prison sentence for multiple charges related to the alleged sexual abuse and exploitation of women and children. So, yeah, that judge said, "Sorry, boo. You know you tried to make a case, but it's just not strong enough." Next,
Mm-hmm.
next case.
He's doing the Diddy dance, constantly
Hmm.
trying to get out of jail.
And y'all asses get. It was just so easy to not be a creep ass predator, but you decide you didn't want to do that. So now look at you, look at you, and I can't wait to people who do the same shit that you do, honey, that we don't know about. I can't wait till they time come to light too, and they asses be right sitting where y'all asses at in jail, trying to fight for y'all freedom with some ridiculous shit that whatever y'all can come up and think with. Y'all asses probably done rented a damn book from that prison library, something that maybe like court for dummies or court law for dummies or something like that, and then think that they can, child. Anyway,
When they got hundreds and thousands of women who would do willingly let you abuse them, just do whatever you want, pee on them, whatever you want to do, willingly would do it. But
okay,
no,
I'm one of them, allegedly, allegedly.
you want to, exert your power and abuse people. No, he's where he belongs.
Hmm. Well, does anybody want to add anything else about the pedophile before we go to the next story? All right. Well, our next story, Joy Reid, honey, she is actually she's talking, and listen, I'm glad she's talking. So I have this link here from vibe.com, and you all should see where it says here. Give me one second. You see where it says here, Joy Reid claims that she was paid a tenth of the salary of her MSNBC peers. And I believe every word she's saying, honey. Reid reflected on her time at MSNBC and detailed an alleged pay disparity this month. The 56-year-old revealed she was paid a tenth of the salary of others at the network, now named MS Now, or is it MSNOW? However they want to say that shit. Anyway, the curse of child. The curse of competency means you're the best person at what you do, explained Reed in the conversation with the founder of social impact consulting firm Full Circle Strategy, the Talk of Eating. According to People magazine, you know more than everyone else because you've had to do more work and more research to get where you are. And so, therefore, you're one of everybody's calls. She continued to detail, but you are the best at it. You actually work the hardest, you do the most hours, work the most overtime, and um, don't get paid to commensurate to the amount of work that you do. Um, in the intimate discussion, the media professional did not disclose specific numbers, but attributed a specific percentage to the alleged wage gap. I worked in a business where I was paid a tenth of the salary of people who did literally my same job. The whole time I worked there, she claimed. And we knew that any man that was doing what I was doing was going to make more than me, and that they were going to be able to negotiate higher salaries, even at lower ratings. Reed added, "It is just a thing that is true, and unfortunately, we have to figure out how emotionally to navigate it. We each have our own way of dealing with it, but unfortunately, we all have to deal with it." And continue to detail how her non-black peers work less hours and make more than us, get bigger raises, more opportunities, and more grace. This is the world we live in, she exclaimed. According to Newsweek, during her time at the network, Weed was one of the highest paid hosts, earning $3 million per year for the readout. The political show was canceled early this year as part of the changes MSNBC led by the network's new president, Rebecca Cutler. This is going to be a really exciting time, but also a challenging time. I think it's important that we as leaders are honest about that and about the challenges ahead. Our jobs are hard on a normal day, and these are not normal times, Cutler explained at the time. Girl, fuck you. Anyway, Reed now hosts The Joy Reid Show, streaming daily on YouTube. According to the official description, the broadcast is a daily dose of Jan Reed's takes and analysis of the news, politics, and culture. If it's hot and happening and it matters to you, it's here. Oh, so it sounds like maybe Auntie Derek's daytime tea, maybe a bootleg version of the Joy Reid show. But Vibe has contacted MSNBC for a statement regarding Joy Reid's alleged pay discrepancies. I'm sure they have not heard back, and you can watch Joy Reid's show here in the article. I believe every word. And do not let Melissa Harris Perry start talking, honey, because I'm sure she'll have some things to say about the network and how they did her dirty. I was a huge fan of Nerdland back when it was on TV. Huge fan.
I remember her.
So, but you can be like a Lawrence O'Donnell, honey, and nothing against Lawrence O'Donnell, really. Hi, favorite Taurus. Nothing against Lawrence O'Donnell, but right, he could probably say, well, hey, people ain't not staying up that late to watch that boring white man talk about Trump. Let's start there. And he probably hit the ratings. We already got numbers and data showing that cable news numbers has actually dwindled in numbers. People aren't watching anymore, but he's still able. And what Joy Reid is saying, he can still go and take his low ratings, do half of the work, and say, "Hey, give me more money." And I'm sure they won't have no problem giving it to him. Whereas the Joy Reid, honey, who's doing the work, working the long hours without being paid overtime, and she's being paid a tenth of her salary, and they did some shady shit to her, firing her like that. Oh, honey, but thus is life. What's that old saying? We got to work twice as hard to get half of what they to get half of what our white counterparts get. Uh, That's that on that child. Does anybody want to add anything about Joy Reid or that network before we go to the next story? Okay, y'all, we're our next story. So, K Michelle confirms that she is married, honey. I was looking at this like, I'm sorry, married?
Wow.
Yeah. But I have this article here from Hot New Hip Hop, and y'all should see where it says here. K Michelle confirms she's a married woman while addressing career struggles ahead of a country album. So K Michelle is opening up about the struggles behind her latest creative chapter. She let fans inside on Wednesday, August 20th, with the latest Instagram post that features a short visual. In the clip, 42-year-old singer-songwriter reality star reflects on the weight of balancing family responsibilities with her career. She admitted she isn't always in the best space, offering fans a rare glimpse into her vulnerability. While audiences often see through her, while audience often see her strength, she explained that perfection comes at a cost. I'm difficult and precise in the studio, she wrote, describing how her perfectionism shapes every recording session. That drive, she added, mirrors the pressure she feels at home. From navigating motherhood to the demands of marriage, Michelle acknowledged that both her and her personal life and music career create constant tension. At the center of her message was her upcoming country album, which she describes as the most authentic expression of her soul. A longtime admirer of the genre, Michelle has called this project a personal mission. I want it flawless down to the very last note, she shared, making clear that her transition into country music is not a trend, but a deeply personal choice. I'm not going to play the video because honestly, y'all, the video is boring. It's just about her talking in the studio and stuff like that. But anyway, she also thanks her team for protecting her spirits throughout the process. Not everyone understands me, Michelle admitted, adding that she no longer worries about the outside judgment. Instead, she embraces her individuality, writing "I give zero fucks" while calling herself the makings of an outlaw. The clip introduces a new era in Michelle's career. It's about authenticity, self expression, and creative freedom. This is the fight of my life, she hinted, suggesting the album will represent both her artistry and resilience. Michelle's latest confession makes clear that this transformation is about more than reinvention. It's about reclaiming her truth. She concluded the caption with anticipation for her new album. See y'all on August 29th. Set for August 29th, Michelle's country album arrives in the midst of her ongoing feud with R&B singer Tamar Braxton. The two have traded subliminals throughout 2025. Child. So, but you notice how they didn't really touch much of that marriage, honey. She just said, you know, she's having trouble navigating, motherhood, marriage, and that career. But they ain't say nothing about that husband, baby. That leads me to girl. Um, you think we have a quote? What in the sugar Avery? Child, my thing is right. So I feel like K Michelle has been in the industry long enough for when she's dating and she gets with the man and marries him, like he kind of knows what it is with her. Like you know she's a performer, you know she's making music, you know she has a music career, but you give her a hard time in trying to are you telling her that she's in the studio too much? And so I don't know how that conversation is, but I just find that really odd. And it's like you knew what you were getting into. And this leads me to believe that this husband may be controlling her allegedly. Like we know unfortunately she's not a stranger to abusive relationships. I hate to say that because it sounds like victim blaming, but with her history of dating, it's I don't know, okay, baby, but congratulations. If you like it, I love it, girl. I mm, I don't have much more to add. Did anybody else want to add anything else about K Michelle's being a married woman and her new country album that she has coming out? I think we know how I feel about that genre, so I won't be you partaking, but I'm happy for I may listen to a clip or two, but go ahead, favorite Taurus.
K Michelle going to country music, I'll say this first, makes all the sense in the world. Like whenever she put out music in the R&B genre, it was something about like the placement, the nasality of her voice. It didn't give R&B. traditional in the traditional sense. So her venturing into that genre makes a ton of sense. Um, I have a slightly different perspective on the whole thing. I because of course we don't know all the details. I It could be a situation where the person that she's with now really actually aligns with what she values in terms of family or how she views marriage, and this hasn't been something that was addressed previous until now. And so that may be where the conflict is coming from in a sense, because folks can have an ideal in their mind about what it is that they want. They just haven't um, found the right situation or combination or partner to kind of bring that out of them. So that might be a situation to consider as well.
And chill, cover your ears, chilly. You know she's a Pisces woman, honey. You know a lot of times, when it comes to
Absolutely.
men,
Mhm.
right? So,
Airy fairy. She was a fairy. Yeah, yeah. Yes. Yes.
well, yeah, okay. I appreciate that perspective. Yeah, because that, and then with her, that makes a lot of sense actually, especially with her wanting to get so, dominate. Like I ain't gonna say dominate, wanted to actually like be a breakout star in the country genre. That leads me to believe that maybe her values are a little bit on the traditional side. So yeah, I hear you. Well, does anybody else want to add anything else before we go to the next story? And when I talk about Pisces women being the Lulu, I'm not talking about Chili. By the way, just a disclaimer. Well, speaking of Chili, thank you for bringing this next story to my attention. Well, I'm sure we have all heard about the Eric Menendez news, him being denied parole.
No,
W-
that's news to me.
Oh, well, yes, honey. Eric Menendez has been denied parole, but
Good.
his wife, his wife felt that that was a setup, honey. Child, let's get into this. So I don't mean to laugh, but it's just like, really, girl, really, okay. And y'all should see I have this article here from People. Eric Menendez's wife says hearing was a complete setup after he's denied parole. So Eric Menendez's wife, Tammy, is speaking out after her husband was denied parole this week, calling the hearing a complete setup and unfair from the start. And I just have to say, like, I think when I say because I giggle when I say the name Tammy, the reason I did so is because of Parks and Recreation. And if you're a fan of that show, shout out to you because we love Tammy and we love Ron Swanson. But anyway, um, Parole Commissioner Robert Barton had his mind made up to deny Eric parole from the start. Tammy Menendez posted on X. This was a complete setup, and Eric never stood a chance. The decision was announced Thursday, August 21st, one at the time of the killings. Sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, but got a long-awaited chance at freedom in May after a Los Angeles judge reduced their sentences to 50 years to life. This made them eligible for parole because they were under 26 when they committed the murders. In a follow-up post, Tammy spoke about Eric's alleged behavior behind bars that reportedly played into the parole board's decision in denying him parole. Eric hasn't had any infractions since 2011, apart from a cell phone possession, she wrote. To the media reporting otherwise, please get the facts straight. Hashtag Eric Menendez. The New York Times reported that in explaining the parole board's decision, Barton said Eric has not been a model prisoner and said he had a series of infractions behind bars. Some of those violations allegedly included drug and cell phone use and involvement in a tax fraud scheme, the Times reported. Barton also said he believed Eric was not in imminent fear for his life before the killings, per the Times. Eric and Lyle have said that they acted in self defense after years of sexual abuse by their father, which they allege their mother was aware of but did nothing to stop. Barton called the brothers' killings devoid of human compassion, telling Eric, the killing of your mother especially showed a lack of empathy and reason. Lau is expected to face the parole board on Friday, well, today, August 22nd. In a statement released after Eric was denied parole, a family spokesperson said they are trying to stay positive. And while it is undoubtedly difficult, we remain cautiously optimistic and hopeful that the commissioner will see in Lau what so many others have, a man who has taken responsibility, transformed his life, and is ready to come home. Girl, bye. Girl, bye. They gonna deny his ass too. I don't know why they sitting there wasting the court's time. So we have a comment saying my audio was cutting on and off. I do apologize about that. Um and go ahead, favorite Taurus.
They are going to die in there. There's no two ways about it. They have been trying for parole for decades, and it's just not going to happen. It doesn't help that since their imprisonment, there have been so many documentaries and TV shows about the murders, and then kind of pointing them as the people who committed the murders, which is not helpful in cases where they are asking to be released on parole. It the whole has been a fucking mess my entire life, and so I appreciate the tenacity. At a certain point, I really wish whomever is representing them on the legal side of things would paint a realistic picture of what could potentially actually happen,
Mhm.
and accepting it from that respect, you know. So it's like, if you allegedly or convicted of killing someone, what makes you think you have the right to freedom, or to lead, or to live the life that you cut short from somebody else?
And
Child.
especially their behavior after the murders. How they went on a big shopping spree buying Rolexes and cars. And, you know, if they said that they did it for the reasons that they did it, I, their actions afterwards sort of gave a different message, you know, that they wanted control of the money, and maybe their dad wasn't letting them spend it, because he had money, wasn't giving them everything they wanted. It just, yeah, for sure. I don't think Lyle is going to get it either, but
I,
oh
I'm
well.
actually just gonna do a quick Google search to see if like there's been any updates. Cause I imagine like I mean he's gonna get the same fate. Like just like favorite Taurus said, they've been fighting this shit for decades, honey. Let me
You
go.
can't change the evidence. So at a certain point, you kind of talking to a brick wall at this point.
Yeah, I,
Um.
I don't think they'll get out either. I think if they do let them out, they'll be 80. They won't get out now. They will serve significantly more time if it ever does happen.
Hmm. Well, it hasn't been any updates on Lao yet. It looks like Newsweek is doing live updates for the parole board, but it doesn't look like there's been a decision yet. So.
Yeah, we
Mm-mm.
probably won't hear that until this evening.
Yeah. Well, did anybody want to add anything else about the Menendez brothers before we go to the next story about another rapper y'all don't care about? I certainly don't care about his fucking ass, but he in the news, so we got to talk about him. All right, well, let's get it over with, child. Kanye West, child.
Oh my God.
A
If Auntie don't
whole
care, it's gonna be
scammer,
bad.
honey.
uh,
Exactly. Well, he is a whole scammer. And let me get this all hip hop link for y'all that talks about his old scamming ass crypto shit. Child. So y'all should see where it says here Kanye West's Yeezy coin crashes hard after $3 billion hype. And I don't know if that's pronounced Yeezy corn or YZI corn. I imagine it's pronounced Yeezy corn because he's so vain. Why wouldn't it be called Yeezy corn? So anyway, Kanye West watched his freshly minted Yeezy coin nosedive more than 60% just hours after its debut on the Solana blockchain Wednesday, August 20th, following a brief surge that pushed its market cap near 3 billion. The token, part of West's newly announced Yeezy Money ecosystem, excuse me, which also includes the YayPay processor and the Yeezy card, initially skyrocketed near 1,000% in value, peaking above $30 before tumbling to under $1. At one point, girl, at one point, the coin was trading around 98 cents, reflecting the kind of wild price swings that have become standard in celebrity backed meme coins. Despite the dramatic drop, the official Yeezy website listed Yeezy as a valid payment method. Still, the abrupt pivot into crypto left some observers scratching their heads, with speculation online that West's account may have been compromised. The Yeezy Money site tried to temper expectations, stating the coin is not intended to be an investment opportunity, should be seen as a symbolic expression of support. It also warned buyers of the inherent risk and potential for a complete loss. West's move into the crypto space marked a sharp reversal from his previous stance. Back in February 2025, he publicly criticized meme coins and the speculative frenzy surrounding them. Of course, because he's a flip flopping ass bitch. That's why. Anyway, he even shared that he once turned down a $2 million offer to promote a fake Yay themed cryptocurrency and said, I wouldn't scam my community, and warned that the coins prey on the fans with hype. The coin's value continued to slide throughout the day, Thursday, August 21st, as traders rushed to offload holdings amid growing uncertainty. They said, get rid of this shit. Traders rushed to offload holdings amid growing uncertainty. But that is wild to go from like a $30 to $1. Child. Well, if you decide to want to buy some fucking cryptocurrency from Kanye West, you deserve everything you fucking get, your stupid ass. Go ahead, favorite Taurus.
For clarity, this man tried to market water shoes as fashion.
Indeed.
Uh, uh, okay, yeah, the man is not well, and we all know it, and it's unfortunate that he doesn't have the adequate support to deal with that. But like, but seriously, coins are so 2021. Like, what are we doing in 2025 with a fucking meme coin? It's wild.
Hmm Child. I, I just I think I like to think of myself as a very reasonably intelligent person, right? So I try if something doesn't make sense to me, I like to do the research and try to make it make sense somehow. What I was not able to make sense of were like these meme coins or not make sense of the NFTs, no matter how hard somebody tried to explain to me. And I had somebody explain to me really well, but still, it just wasn't clicking for me. So usually if I can't make it make sense, baby, I don't want to be a part of it. And I just that's just my own personal stance on it. But I think we've seen enough to where we can kind of confirm that it's really not a good if you're looking to invest in something, that area is not mm-mm. But I'm a bitch with no money, so don't listen to me. So, well,
Well,
does anybody oh, sorry, boo.
Auntie, I was like, well, to be fair, many people who have crypto don't have no money either. So you all are in the same boat.
Touche.
No, yeah, it's just something so highly unregulated. It just doesn't make sense, And then trying to transition it as a adequate payment method for things when it has no inherent value until you actually turn it into money. It's highly volatile, But people are still going to go up for as much as they possibly can, mostly because they have invested a lot of money and time into it, which makes sense. You want to see your investments through, however, come the writing is on the wall.
Yep. Now, I think the only cryptocurrency I ever had like any is the only because this one was actually able to make sense to me. Was the Pi. I don't know if y'all familiar with the Pi cryptocurrency. But the only reason I even got well, one, I didn't have to put any of my money into it because that was going to be an automatic. If I had to like put anything of my own into it, it was already a no for me from the beginning. But I just like the idea that the students from Stanford, even though I was told that maybe I shouldn't trust Stanford students, but I found that I thought the idea of them making their own cryptocurrency was cool. So we were able to set it up and we were able to just mine it and I remember like what they were doing was kind of similar to how Bitcoin got started. So I'm shit like shit, why not? Hell, it's on my phone. All I gotta do is set it and forget it. But now we see that as of this year, it's actually going into the open market. I was actually able to cash out a little bit of cash on that. So I was like, oh, okay, so cool. But that's just my own personal experience. So I say all that to say, if you have any pie and you just feel that it's not doing anything for you, you can go ahead and send it to me. Email me at auntie@auntiederek.com. I'll tell you how to send it to me and everything. Go ahead, favorite tourist.
How much money did you get, Auntie?
I was able to $1,000 out of it.
Oh,
Yeah, because
oh,
remember I was mining since 2018, I believe.
mm,
So yep.
Uh, That's not bad for pulling money out of thin air.
Mm-hmm. So
$1,000.
it was, but and not all at one time. It was like 300 here, 300 there, 200 there, stuff like that. So, but yep, I was able to cash out on it. And again, I didn't put any of my own. And the crazy thing is, the gagger is, I have been trying to tell my family and close friends about it like for years, ever since I started doing it. Because again, I thought it was a cool idea that students are tackling this cryptocurrency space or whatever. So,
Are you still doing it?
I am. Yep, I steal mine every day.
Oh, okay.
So, I told my family. So when my family finally saw that I was actually pulling money out of it, now they over there like, "Oh well, show me how to do it." And then me, because I'm a snarky bitch that like to show people receipts. I'm like, "Well, look, I actually tried to show you this back. You see this text that I sent you back in 2019."
Not a snarky bitch.
But yeah, if y'all want more information about it, I'll send it to y'all. I've been tweeting about it and everything.
Yeah, I'm interested in hearing about it.
Hells no. But the student said, all you got to do is just put this app on your phone and mine it, and that's it. I'm like, okay, well, shit, why not? What's the worst that can happen? But if Kanye West was any part of that, I would have took that shit off my phone so fucking fast, honey. So I don't know why anybody would want to invest in like any Yeezy coins or make any Yeezy pay. Boy, bye. Just
Uh,
like favorite tourist said, he tried to make water shoes a thing.
mm, mm.
Homeless chic with them holes in the shirts and the jeans and stuff. Had people out here looking like a fool, honey. I was like, I can't. It was mostly straight men who thought that shit was sexy. The gays was not to know. We might have did maybe a long T-shirt for a little drama and flow, but we ain't put no holes in the. No, no. Mm-mm. Well, does anybody have three stories left? Does anybody want to add anything else before we go to the next story?
Mm-mm.
Well, this next story is actually very interesting. So, we talked a bit about Dame Dash and how he was going through a lot of legal and money troubles and stuff like that. So, there's actually someone who feels that Jay-Z should step in and help him.
Oh, please.
That's what I said. I was like, wow, I can't believe he actually feels that way, especially who this person is. So, y'all may not know him by name, but I'm sure you know his work. So anyway, I have this link from Hot New Hip Hop. Jay Z catches heat from failing to help Dame Dash with financial struggles. So and it was Lance Rivera who says this. Now, who Lance Rivera is just a quick. He's a pretty popular, famous director. He's directed The Cookout. Um, he did what was it? Junior Mafia's Players Anthem. I think he directed that video. Like he's been around for a while. Like he's directed some iconic things. But anyway. Jay Z formed an empire with Rockefeller, but that wouldn't have been possible without Dame Dash and Kareem Biggs Burke. Sadly, their bond fractured as specularly as it formed. Excuse me. Spectacularly as it formed. That word just beat my ass, y'all. And now Jay and Dame are in very different financial spots that Lance and Rivera wants to equalize. In a new interview with The Art of Dialogue published to YouTube, Un spoke on the rumor that Hove stabbed him and experienced an arrest for it. At one point, though, he answered a question about Dame Dash's current financial strife, which mostly refers to a judgment against him over defamation claims. More specifically, Lance Rivera thinks the Rock Nation mogul should chip in to help his former executive colleague with his money problems. While many fans have wildly different perspectives on this, he thinks The Rock should still stand tall and together. Jay Z, I hate to keep bringing your name up, but I think it's some sucker shit, Rivera remarked, according to Hip Hop DX. He probably did some things that he did with his money that was, you know what I'm saying? But nah, he's not supposed to be in that situation that he's in. He has to know that Dame has helped him. Um, for those unaware, Dame Dash's financial struggles stem most recently from a $4 million payout to filmmaker Josh Weber, which we've talked about here. He had accused Dame of defaming him with his accusations that Weber stole from him while working on the 2019 movie Dear Frank. Dash also had many other debts, and his one-third stake in Rockefeller went to all of these matters. But despite all these moments of financial strife, Dame Dash is still talking about Jay Z. His place in hip hop discourse and its historical reappraisal still gets a lot of play. However, many folks would probably scoff at the idea of Hove helping out here, like Chill just did. It's like, oh, please. So we assume their rift will sadly persist. Elsewhere, Jay Z's possibly working on new music amid all his other money moves. So we don't expect anything to break up his busy schedule, let alone a financial assist to Dame. Still, who knows what the future will hold soon. What we do know, what will hold, is Jay Z never helping him with that no damn financial problems. We know that to be certain, but true.
How does he know he hasn't helped him up to this point? I mean, you don't know what that man is doing. Leave that man alone. He's Jesus.
Child. Go ahead, favorite Taurus.
That's like one of your old Verizon colleagues get into some mess, and because y'all were cool at one point, you're expected to go and help them out. That makes absolutely no sense to me. Like
Hmm.
people kind of misconstrue working relationships with actual ones. They were making money with each other at one point, and then all of a sudden they stop talking to each other. I mean, Dame has to take accountability, which he has, of course, but people don't look at it that way, which is kind of odd to me. It's like
Especially when he's put himself into the situation.
huh? It doesn't make a lick of sense to me at all. So
No.
I understand the intention behind what is saying. However, it mm,
It's
no.
not like Dane got sick
He's
or
Jay
something
is
happened, you
beyond
know?
whatever has occurred from Rock Nation at that time. He's a billionaire. He's not looking back at what Dame Dash is doing. Well, I would hope he wasn't.
Yeah, I don't think he owes him anything. Dane put himself in that situation, as far as I can see it, you know?
He really did. All he had to do was shut his mouth and look, still out here talking and interviewing and shit. It's still he don't
Right.
give a fresh fuck, honey. Jay Z ain't had nothing to do with that. And had Jay Z advised him, Jay Z probably would have told him to be quiet. Like he, because you look, you as much with the exception of that, that very lengthy statement that we read here on the show. When scandals usually break out about Jay Z, honey, he usually keeps quiet. Like he don't really say so. And I'm sure he would have told Dame to do the same thing. Like shut your mouth, and then
Right.
maybe you'll save some money.
He speak through his lawyers. He don't say nothing.
So, and now this is not a story because I actually don't have any article so only just what I saw with my own eyes on Netflix. So chill, because Dame Dash's issue with the Josh Weber movie, the defamation reminded me of of that story that we read about Tyler Perry, and that shows She the People, how he was being
Yes.
sued for copyright infringement.
Right.
So I noticed, and I don't know if you noticed this as well, but the show is no longer called She the People.
I
The show
noticed that.
it's called
Yes.
Misgovernment.
I'm like, what? Is this the same show with another name? Yeah, I saw that.
hmm
Hmm.
But I wasn't able to find any articles about like why it was changed or whatever. But I did see the change on it, so that leads me to believe that.
There's
Mm,
something to the story. Yeah, Miss
mm,
Governor. I'm like, this is the wait, this is the same show. Hold up. Huh. Isn't that a coinky dink?
mm, Tyler, Tyler, Tyler. New we have a comment. New name, same terrible show.
Yeah.
It was actually I'm not gonna see would I recommend it? If you absolutely have nothing else to watch, sure. I'm a huge fan of Terry J. Bond, so that's why I've been watching in the first place. But there was some extremely annoying parts in and some annoying characters in that damn show, honey. Oh my god. Go ahead, favorite Taurus.
Well, I would suggest if someone doesn't have anything to watch, they could just read a book instead. I think it'd be more beneficial.
Touche. Well, does anybody want to add anything else about or Dame Dash or Tyler Perry before we go to the next story? Well, y'all, this next story, I really hope it tickles y'all as much as it tickled me, honey. Because, like, when I tell you, it has to be blissful to be this delusional. Like, it has to be in a state of bliss. Because I don't understand, like, why would you want to do it unless you get, like, some kind of pleasure from it? So, Tory Lanez's uncle, honey, is talking. And I have this all hip hop article. Child, and you see where it says Tory Lane's uncle speaks out after appeal hearing. He got the short end of the stick, according to his uncle child. Girl. Tory Lanez wasn't in the courtroom for his latest appeal hearing on Tuesday, August 18th in Los Angeles, but his legal team and family made sure his voice was heard outside. Attorney Crystal Morgan and Lanez's uncle Speedy, look, that's our first problem right there. Uncle Speedy address address reporters following oral arguments at the California Second District Court of Appeal, expressing optimism about the rapper's chances of overturning his 2022 conviction for shooting Megan Thee Stallion. We knew the case. We presented the evidence. The justices really listened to us. They were really focused in. They took notes. It was just a matter of going and getting it done today, Morgan told reporters, describing the panel's engagement during the hearing. Morgan argued that the trial was flawed, pointing to what she called improper use of emotional testimony and closing arguments that may have swayed the jury unfairly. She added, convictions don't always equal justice, and claimed her client had been hoodwinked by the district attorney's office. Outside of the courthouse, Lane's uncle Speedy painted the Canadian artist as a problem solver who chose to stay quiet, child. I'm sorry. Y'all, the best way to solve shit in Hollywood and everywhere else is to just shut the fuck up and be quiet. He could have opened his mouth from the gate and said, I didn't do this shit. That's what it was. The witness, everything, Speedy said. He also suggested the incident could have been resolved privately, saying Lanes and others could have handled it themselves without law enforcement stepping in. Speedy echoed a theory floated by the defense that pointed the finger at Kelsey Harris, Megan's former friend, suggesting that she was the one who fired the gun following a drunken dispute involving Lanes. He got the short end of the stick, Speedy said, insisting his nephew has a big heart and was unfairly treated throughout the case. Lanes, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, is currently serving a 10-year sentence after being convicted in 2022 for shooting Megan Thee Stallion during a July 2020 altercation in Hollywood Hills. His legal team is seeking to overturn the conviction, arguing that the trial judge made key errors that prejudiced the jury. Child, Uncle Speedy. Is Uncle Speedy Canadian? Like, take your ass back to Canada with this bullshit, honey. For real.
What's his name? Crazy Star.
I think so. He say Speedy is slow. Yes, indeed. Child, I just had to share this story. I had a good laugh off of that one. I said, these motherfuckers is him, his family, and his supporters are really delusional. And then when he said that talking about all he had to do was say I didn't do this shit, he did say it. He kept saying it. Kept saying, and he was told not to say anything about Megan Thee Stallion as he did it anyway, kept tweeting, you go out and hustle trying to go where and fuck you, the baby. Shit, for bringing Tory Lanez out when that concert that you was performing at Megan, that was some sucker shit right there. But honey, I don't know what Uncle Speedy is talking. My favorite source is correct with that comment. Uncle Speedy is slow, but it has to be blissful to be that delusional. Well, does anybody want to add anything about slow Speedy? Go ahead, favorite Taurus.
You know, these people remind me of this video. I'm not sure if y'all saw it on the internet, of the goat looking at the fire and then jumping in, and
Oh
then
yes, yeah,
that's what these people remind me of.
Ooh.
yeah. And he pulled him out and he jumped in there again.
Hmm.
And the crazy
Yeah.
thing is, y'all willing to get burned over a 5 foot fire, like a 5 foot Canadian fire? Like, wow, that's wow.
To be fair, Auntie, I definitely believe a lot of these sentiments of support are stemming from what's his name, Tory being like he could potentially be like the primary financial support for many people in his family.
Hmm.
And so they might feel a sense of obligation, also desperation, because one, the shit dried up, but also based upon that as well. That's the only thing that would make sense as to why these people are speaking out and just
Hmm.
again, as my favorite Gemini Ashley was said, shutting up is free. Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, I've never looked at it from that viewpoint.
Yep. Well, does anybody want to add anything about these slow ass people before we go to or these people who need towards money so they speaking out and saying bullshit?
We see how he is so stupid. It's hereditary.
Honestly, runs in the family, allegedly, allegedly. Well, this next story is going to be like a little bit of a celebratory one. This last story here, Kaylani. Kaylani feels like India Ari should get her flowers. And India Ari responded to that, and she said pretty much saying thank you, and she spoke of her own. But we'll talk about it. I have this Vibe article here. Let me make sure I get that for y'all. And you should see where it says here, India Ari talks about being overlooked as Kaylani gives songstress her flowers. Thank you for all you've given. And she said, I'm so grateful I got to grow up in your art. So, India Ari is one of the most influential vocalists of the 21st century, and yet her legacy is often overlooked. With Kaylani acknowledging the Grammy winner in a recent interview where her name went unspoken among her contemporaries, the musician took to Instagram to share her thoughts on being skipped over when it comes to conversations surrounding R&B. During a discussion on the most important figures in neo soul, Erica Badu, Jill Scott, and Lauryn Hill were mentioned as the top three by host Nyla Simone before Kaylani was sure to add India Ari's name to the Mount Rushmore combo. And we can just kind of see that video here, see them talk about it. So let's see.
Jill, Erica, and Lauren are like the.
Yeah, but then you have to add the four and it's India Ari, which I think why do people leave her out of that four? Because we always go Jill, Lauren, Erica, but then we forget India. But maybe it's because she never had a toxic run and everybody else got a little more like turn and she gave us like real like
She did.
the whole time.
She really did.
But she's in there. She's in there. She's a part of that like
She is.
Mount Rushmore.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, India. Yes. I'm dividing.
She knows I love her. I be in her DMs all the time. Like, so how you doing?
Collab on the way.
I hope so. Shit.
That will be something, honey. Her and But India Ari reposted the interview along with a thank you to the Oakland native and an open invite to collaborate on a future song, resulting in Kaylani swooning over one of her biggest inspirations within her comment section. I love you. I adore you. You have given so much. You gave us confidence, grace, real love, blueprints on walking with God, so much. I will give you flowers to the day I'm gone. I am so grateful I got to grow up in your art. Thank you for all you've given. Uh,
Nice.
that was really nice. And India Ari, the steady love singer, went on to explore being overlooked within the industry in a series of Instagram stories she later shared on her main page. She began by addressing journalist Touré's recent YouTube upload, dissecting the history of neo soul, with India noting he never once mentioned my name. She proposed that it could be because her music didn't fit his exact definition of the genre, but it was the closest term she could use to describe her sound from a marketing perspective. She also noted that her debut album, 2001's Acoustic Soul, spawned a subgenre and Spotify playlist that she's not even on. But I do hear my DNA all up and through there. I know my children when I hear them, she wrote of her musical offspring. The songwriter went on to say that the old familiar pain of being overlooked just isn't there anymore, adding that she's fully aware of her accomplishments and influence, even if others aren't. And this is the full post below. It was quite, she put quite a lot of posts up here about it. So if you want to take a look, it's there. But she's right, and a lot of people do leave her name out when they talk about like soul singers or neo soul singers, especially when the early 2000s. NDRE was putting out hits to stick like grits honey from the beginning. So they say I won't I won't say what else I thought due to previous false allegation. Kaylani is a bad bitch. Yes, indeed. Go ahead, favorite Taurus.
It's like the tale as old as time when a black artist sounds even remotely agnostic. Like, oh, we don't know what to do with it. You guys know exactly what to do with artists who sound exactly like that. And I can honestly see why India is wrongfully left out of the conversation because she her music never fit into that Philadelphia esque
Hmm.
grounded, earthy type vibe. She was always on her own thing. And it just speaks to folks and their very narrow minded view of what soul actually is. So I also think of artists like India, Ari, and I believe they deserve all the credit just for their tenacity and their desire to still create even when they're overlooked. And still being present, still being visible, and not allowing folks' lack of recognition stop them from what their God-given talent is, and that is create music to make people feel a certain way, good about
Hmm.
themselves, essentially, and sharing their own story through music as well. So, I love that. I absolutely love it. And yeah, Kalani is a bad bitch. It okay. All I'll say is Janelle Monet. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out to I love this, and I love to see the girls like I feel like it's important for these new artists to do that because that's a lost art, especially like when it comes to the rap. It's always like I'm the baddest bitch. Ain't nobody ever taught me how to do nothing. I didn't get inspiration from nobody. When we know that that's not true. That's literally not true. Everything that you think you're doing that's new has been done several times over before. So it's so I just love to see this. So shout out to Kaylana for saying it. Go ahead, favorite Taurus.
It goes back to the an ongoing through line conversation that keeps coming up. These motherfuckers can't read and don't have adequate reasoning skills. I mean,
Mhm.
it all boils down to that. However, I do understand the intention, especially in the hip hop space. Like, you're supposed to position yourself as the best. Nobody's greater than me. That's like the whole hip hop 101 type boilerplate example that they're following. So it makes sense as to why they would say that. It's just the lack of there's no desire to learn the history of the art that they're attempting to make, because many of them fail miserably attempting to make. Like studying is still a thing. It's still very important. Like, oh, what is that? What is I recognize something in a familiar space that I was in at one point. I don't know exactly what that is, but I was drawn to. Let me look that up. What is that called? Hmm. And
Right.
then it makes you a more intelligent individual. You can read all the business books in the world. You can be book smart, but people fucking stupid. And we're running a lot of people in these creative spaces who are people fucking stupid.
Hmm. Yes, indeed. Now, I did hear rumors. I not to, 'cause- and I hate this, bring this up after just giving her her flowers. But I've heard some whispers about India Ari through the years and saying that she wasn't always the kindest person, behind the scenes. But there's nobody ever really like I think they said it and then kind of swept it under the rug. But and then there's one story. um, where I don't know if this is true or not, but I did hear about her. Pink was supposed to have been on the "I'm Not My Hair" remix, and Pink got on there and she was singing because Pink sings down like down down, and she was doing a lot of riffs and runs and stuff. And then so that's so, and I think she's another Libra queen. Um, hey, go ahead, favorite Taurus.
I've heard those things as well. The one thing I always keep coming back to is like, will we really hear about these things if she was a man?
Mm, yeah, we would
It,
not.
and men in her position have done some of the most egregious things that we know and don't know about. But she wants to be more critical about how her artists performed or who she collaborates with. It's a problem. I I don't like that. I never liked that.
Yeah. Well, shout out to my girl, India Hunter. The acoustic soul, and I won't even like really trying to. I wasn't on the. How should I say this without sounding like I'm being discriminatory, but I just kind of wasn't into the neo soul movement. I was here for the girls like the Mayas, the pop R&B girls. I was here for the Mayas, the Brandies, the Monicas, and all that. So the neo soul, I heard it and I listened to it when it was on the radio, but it wasn't something that I actively seeked out. However, when it comes to India Ari's acoustic soul album, baby, that was an album for your ass. And I discovered it and I was like, wow, this sounds really good. But go ahead, favorite Taurus.
Because it was some shit our mom was listening to.
Uh, There you go.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yes.
And so you know how I feel about certain music. Mm, certain music acts that I will not name. Yeah, it's just something that it's always like that thing. Like, oh, my mom listening to it. That's not cool. You're not supposed to listen to the same music as your mom. That's not cool at all. You have to listen to something else. Da 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 da. So I definitely think it's a lot of that came into play, especially in how we perceived neo soul music. But I'm not sure if you've had this change in perspective like I have, Auntie. But I've gone back and listened to some of it. Yes, it is very Auntie Mama coded. However, like, oh, this is actually pretty good. I can understand how people gravitate towards it for that brief period of time because it's so rich, in storytelling and all the things. So I can understand how our moms
Yeah.
and their generation kind of gravitated to neo soul and beyond as well, of course.
Yeah. I certainly have an appreciation for like the Bilals and the Raheem Devon. Yeah. So yeah, I certainly did go back to it, and it's changed my mind, but I still won't actively seek it out. But if they put it on my Spotify playlist, I let it rock.
Yeah, and there's one artist though I just cannot get into. I never have.
Which
First
one?
name starts with an S. Last name starts with sorry. First name starts with a J. Last name starts with an S.
Well, that's interesting because I guess that's another. But you know what? Because my mama played the hell out of that album, and I had no choice but to fall in love with it, and just like I with Mary. So
No,
I get it.
sorry, that was a visceral reaction. Excuse me.
But then, she continues to make music, and like I know what was it that third album, honey? I was like a good how old was I? I was like a young adult when it came out, and I was on that. I was like, okay, girl, I hear what you're doing. So I get why you wouldn't be in it because yeah, this very I know my mother's a Virgo and yours is too, so I know she probably played the living hell out of that album from top to bottom. On the way to school, from home to school, if we was on the way to visit family, that album was being played. And you know what? That song, do you want it on your collard greens? Do you want it on your candy sweet? That song, I'm pretty sure she probably played that one out. If I don't have to hear that song another time, another again, a day in my life, I think I'll be okay. Because I've heard it literally probably 10,000s of times. And I'm done.
Do you know how many times I tried to hide that CD from her?
I don't blame you not one bit.
Lord have
Not
mercy.
a one. Well, y'all, that was all the tea that I have for us today. So before we head out, before I go, watch the rest of my stories. Did any of you have any tea that come and sip tea with me? We will be back on Monday at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time if you can make the live show. Hit up our email, auntie@auntiederek.com. And until then, until Monday, y'all have a fabulous weekend.
Bye, everybody.